So the Rose coach in Unrivaled finally decided to play Lexi Hull. Lexi Hull actually saw the floor. And what happened when Lexi Hull played more than like 4 minutes? Oh, the Rose win, first of all.
They win, picture this. You're Lexi Hull. You've played a total of 8 minutes in 2 games. Your team is struggling and has 0 wins. You're watching from the sidelines as Angel rehogs the spotlight, forcing her way to get double-doubles. Then, suddenly, you get your shot, and you absolutely demolish it, with a 19-point performance taking over and leading your team to their first win.
And Lexi Hull goes 8 for 11 from the field and has 19 points, 3 assists, and 3 boards. 19, 3, and 3. She was the top scorer.
This isn't just a comeback story. It's a tale of perseverance, strategy, and the sweet taste of vindication. Lexi Hull just showed everyone what happens when you prioritize talent over stat padding, and why her success might be the key to unlocking the Rose Basketball Club's potential. What exactly did she do to put Angel Reese in her place? Are you ready? Let's go.
Hull's really stepping up because she barely played those first 2 games. And I do think with her barely playing those first 2 games, I don't think she did anything wrong. Like I even said at the time where I'm like, it's literally just the style of play their coach is trying to play that didn't suit Lexi Hull.
Remember when Lexi Hull was practically invisible on the court for the Rose Basketball Club? Yeah, that actually happened. Let's rewind to those first 2 unrivaled games where Hull rode the bench. She played a grand total of 8 minutes. That's right, 8 whole minutes across 2 entire games. You know, what's even crazier? While Hull was warming the bench, her team was racking up losses. Like, there's no tomorrow. The Rose Basketball Club started the season 0 wins and 2 losses, and Hull could do nothing but watch talk about frustrating.
Imagine going from Christy Sides coaching, where she doesn't really want to play you, and no matter what you do on the court, it doesn't matter because your coach doesn't want to play you, and then eventually your coach figures it out and starts you and plays you 30 minutes a game and your team gets better.
Here's the thing. Hull isn't some random player trying to find her footing. She's a proven 3-point shooter with serious defensive chops. In the previous WNBA season, Hull's 3-point shooting percentage put her among the top players in the league. She's got the skills to pay the bills, but for some reason she was left riding the pine.
Lexi Hull hardly played, and it was all within like the flow of whatever offense you run in Unrivaled. And also, she's obviously a really freaking good defender.
So what gives? Why was a player of Hull's caliber getting practically 0 playing time? Something wasn't adding up, and fans were starting to notice they were scratching their heads, wondering why Hull's defensive prowess wasn't being utilized when the team clearly needed a spark. This is where it gets interesting. While Hull was glued to the bench, her teammates were struggling to find their rhythm. Multiple players were scoring in double digits, but it wasn't translating to wins. The offense looked clunky, and the defense had more holes than a slice of Swiss cheese.
As we've seen from Alyssa Thomas, like the points that are like the point guards that are doing really well, or the point forward type things that are doing well in this, aren't really pick and roll players. It's the ones that are sharing the rock and hitting cutters, hitting like 3-point players. Like, it's not about the pick and roll. It's not as important in 3-on-3, especially when you can push the floor and you can run, and athleticism is the most important thing.
And here's the reality. Even with her limited playing time, Hull was making waves. Fans and commentators couldn't help but notice her lockdown defense during those few precious minutes. She was on the floor. It was like watching a highlight reel, and fast forward blink, and you'd miss her impact. The frustration was palpable. Teammates were grumbling. Fans were tweeting their discontent. And Hull, well, as always, a team player and professional. Everyone seemed to agree. Hull deserved more time on the court.
I think Lexi Hull is going to have she's going to have a solid Unrivaled, and thankfully she's stepping up, and I didn't think she did anything wrong in her first 2 games when she was on the floor. The coach just didn't fit her. She didn't fit the coach's system. Thankfully, the Rose switched it up a bit. They won.
So, how did Lexi Hull go from bench warmer to game changer in just one night? That's the million-dollar question. Was it a change in strategy? Did the coach finally see the light, or did Hull make some sort of deal with the basketball gods? We'll break it down in a bit. But first, why was she even benched? To begin with,
she's back to mid-season form. She really is. She's absolutely delivering on that double-double. That's right. Points, rebounds, and of course, losses. Just in the same way that the Chicago Sky melted last year when her double-double streak started, she cost her team a game.
Remember when we were all wondering why Lexi Hull was warming the bench? Well, it turns out she might just be the secret weapon the Rose Basketball Club needed all along. Let's break down why Hull's game is practically tailor-made for the 3-on-3 format. And unrivaled first things. First 3-on-3. Basketball is a whole different beast compared to the traditional 5-on-5 game with fewer players on the court. There's a ton more space to work with. This isn't just about having room to breathe. It's about creating opportunities. The pace is faster, the action is more intense, and every player needs to be a threat on both ends of the court.
People are saying, oh, she should have never went to Unrivaled. I still think, look, she's getting paid, what, 100 and something K? At least. Could be paid up to $250,000. She's everywhere. It's going to help her out. She drew the short straw with her team. The way the coach wants them to play is just not the way Lexi Hull is good at.
Now let's talk about Lexi Hull. You know, she's a sharp shooter, right? In 3-on-3. That's like bringing a flamethrower to a water balloon fight with all that extra space on the court. Players who can knock down threes and cut to the basket consistently become absolute nightmares for the defense and Hull. She's not just good, she's been among the WNBA's best when it comes to draining shots from beyond the arc. But Hull's game isn't just about offense. In 3-on-3, your defensive skills are put under a microscope. There's nowhere to hide when you're the only one guarding your opponent. This is where Hull really shines. Her lockdown. Defense is the kind of thing that gives opposing players nightmares in a format where one-on-one matchups can make or break a game. Hull's defensive prowess is like having a secret weapon.
Not only that, she's been good. The problem isn't that Lexi Hull has been garbage. Lexi Hull has played well. That's the weirdest thing, is that she's actually played well. There is one issue with Lexi Hull, which is why I think she's not playing, but I think she has actually played well. And their team lost again.
You want to know what's even crazier? This isn't Hull's first rodeo with 3-on-3 basketball. She's been there, done that, and got the medals to prove it. Hull has represented Team USA in international 3-on-3 competitions, bringing home some serious hardware that experience it's priceless. She knows the ins and outs of this format, and it shows in her play. Still not convinced? Take a look around the league. Players like Kayla McBride and Kate Martin are tearing it up for the LA Basketball Club. What do they have in common with Hull? They're all deadly from long range. These players are proving game after game that in 3-on-3, a good three-point shooter is worth their weight in gold.
And we saw Kate Martin have one of the best performances of the weekend with a double-double at the guard position off the bench in limited minutes, where she did unbelievable.
So why is Lexi Hull's playing style perfect for 3-on-3 basketball? It's simple. She's got the complete package. Her sharp shooting keeps defenses honest and spreads the floor, creating opportunities for her teammates. Her lockdown defense means she can shut down the opposition's best player, and her experience in the format means she knows exactly how to maximize her skills in this unique style of play. So how did she apply all this in their latest game? But
for Lexi Hull, at least now they're stopping running the constant pick and rolls. Like, that was the worst part about it, is everything had to be a pick and roll. So the only players really scoring were Azare and Angel got some shots in, and that was really it. And at least this game was good today. This game really was good today.
the stage was set for a showdown against the Mist Basketball Club. The Rose, still searching for their first win, decided it was time to shake things up, and boy, did they ever gone. Were the days of slow plotting offense and pick-and-roll heavy sets in their place. A high-octane strategy focused on fast movement and sharp cuts. It was like watching a completely different team. And at the center of it all, Lexi Hull finally unleashed. So a brick from Chelsea Gray, an offensive rebounder, and Vander SLO. Like it's all from hustle place. It's all from cutting, spotting up a cut. Chelsea Gray hits her. I get the off-ball movement. That was really nice. Lexi HLA posting up, Courtney Lowe. I stand by. It is, I thought at the start, Courtney Vanders. Lowe was going to be the worst player in Rival. She's not, but she's very poor. Let's talk about those 19 points in just 10 minutes. That's not a typo. Folks, Hull wasn't just good. She was on another level entirely. But here's where it gets really interesting. 14 of those points came from driving to the hoop. This wasn't the Lexi Hull we thought. We knew this was Lexi Hull 2.0, attacking the basket with a ferocity that left defenders in wake. Sloot
is very, very poor. Like Courtney Vandersloot, she shoots it off the dribble, bang. And then again, she goes and cuts on Vandersloot. Courtney Vandersloot, dear Lord. Like, then she's being guarded by Alia Edwards with the post fade. Like, Lexi Hull was doing a little bit of everything, but a lot of it was just her off-ball movement. A good screen by Brittany Sykes and a nice left-handed finish there.
Of course, she didn't completely abandon her bread butter. Those other 5 points, pure, whole magic from beyond the arc and the free throw line. It was like watching a perfect blend of her old strengths and newfound aggression.
They struggled to live with Lexi Hull, just as far as her cutting. It was just cuts, hustle plays, and she was just doing a lot of the little things. Like, she didn't do anything crazy other than, like, she made one or two decent drives. She made she made a really good cut. Like, she made a really, really good cut. She made really good cuts, and that's really it. Like, it just shows how much off the ball movement matters.
Now, let's put this performance into perspective. Hull's efficiency was off the charts. She had the highest point total on the team, despite playing limited minutes. And while we're on the subject of limited minutes, let's talk about Angel Reese for a second. Remember, her, the one who was supposed to be the star of this show. Look, Angel Reese had a horrific game, like a terrible, terrible, terrible game. Well, Reese's stat line tells a different story. 4 points in 8 minutes with 3 turnovers and 4 fouls. That's right, she spent most of the game watching. From the bench, talk about a role reversal. But this isn't just about Hull outshining Reese. It's about how her performance lifted the entire team, with Hull leading the charge. The Rose found their rhythm. The new offensive strategy clicked, creating space and opportunities that simply weren't there before. And just like that, the Rose Basketball Club had their first win in Unrivaled. They
changed a little bit. She's doing a lot more off-the-ball work. She's doing a lot more cutting, and she's doing a lot of positive, really positive things for the team. And with her defense, I think it's hard. It'd be hard to not give her a look in. Or at least whether you don't want to give her more of a look in, or these are the type of minutes you want to give her. I think it's hard to give her as few minutes as you did initially.
So what does this mean? Moving forward, for starters, it raises some serious questions about Hull's previous lack of playing time if she can put up these kinds of numbers in just 10 minutes. Imagine what she could do with more time on the court. It's clear that Hull isn't just a role player, she's a potential game changer. So why was Hull benched during those first 2 games? You know, who wasn't riding the pine during those first 2 games, Angel Reese?
You can imagine missed layups from last night. Man, I mean, what is really going on here? You see that, and then whatever that is. I don't even know what that was. One more time. Oh, my God. I'm going to drive to the basket, and then I'm going to mess the ball up. No layups. Whatever that is. We don't know what that is. They haven't identified exactly what the hell that is.
So what was going on? Well, it turns out that Reese's playing style just wasn't cutting it in the fast-paced world of 3-on-3 basketball. Her game was slow and pick-and-roll heavy. Basically, the opposite of what you need in this format. It's like trying to play checkers in a game of speed chess. It just doesn't work. And the reality, Reese couldn't finish at the rim. She missed several easy looks during these games. I mean, come on. Layups are like the bread and butter of basketball. If you can't make those, you're in trouble. If they had have lost, I know you can't get fired from Unrivaled coaching. I would still be looking to fire Nola Henry. Is it? Nola Henry? Like, I would be like genuinely, looking at firing the freaking coach. If they lost that game, fans were starting to notice too. One fan even went as far as to say Angel Reese is a liability and unrivaled. Ouch. But can you blame them? The Rose Basketball Club's offensive strategy with Reese on the floor was about as effective as a screen door on a submarine, instead of fast movement and cuts. You know, the stuff that actually works in 3-on-3. They were stuck in this slow plotting style that just wasn't getting results. It's like they were playing a different game entirely, but obviously the coach just didn't wanted to run everything through. Obviously, Angel and Chelsea Gray and Kay Copper, that starting lineup. They wanted Copper to be like the late shot clock ISO score. They wanted Chelsea Gray to set everything up, and they wanted it to be a lot of pick and rolls. So why was Lexi Hull warming the bench for those first 2 games? Simple coach Nola Henry was so focused on trying to make Reese work that she couldn't see the forest for the trees. She was betting on the wrong horse, hoping that Reese's individual stats would somehow magically translate into team success. But you know what they say, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Something had to give, and finally it did. After Reese's poor performance in the first 2 games, she found herself riding the bench in the third one, and who stepped up none other than Lexi Hull, helping the team snag their first win. This coach, by the way, was this close to losing the game for them. The best player is on the floor. We're Lexi Hull, Kalia Copper, and Azer Stevens. You can run that 3, and, in fairness, I don't mind playing Chelsea Gray. Because, you know, Chelsea Gray she did hit the shot. She was really good. And she was really good in the fourth. Lexi Hull's breakout game isn't just a personal victory, it's a potential game changer for the Rose Basketball Club and the Indiana Fever.
Rose did win though, which is all that matters. But like, I think it's got to the stage now for the Rose where, even though, look, I don't think in the first 2 games Angel Reese was that bad. I don't think she was brilliant. But it's now got to the stage where you have to play as her.
Her performance against the Mist showed us what's possible when Hull gets the green light, with stars like Caitlyn Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aya Boston. In the mix, Hull's versatility could be the secret ingredient the Fever needs to spice things up in 2025. But here's the million-dollar question. Will Coach Nola Henry keep riding the Hull Express, or will we see a return to the old playbook? The ball's in Henry's court. Now, if she's smart, she'll recognize that Hull's not just a role player. She's a difference maker who can contribute on both ends of the floor. You know what this could be? The start of something big for Hull in the Rose Basketball Club, but only if they play their cards. Right? The potential is there. Now, it's time to see if they can turn it into results. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.